Are you serious right now? I asked, staring at her like I'd misheard. You're leaving me for him? Emma didn't flinch. She stood in front of the window, arms folded, like she was already gone. I'm leaving because I need more than this, Aaron. I need security. Stability. Security. I laughed, bitter and hollow. I've been working day and night to make this brand work. I thought you believed in me. I did. For years. But believing doesn't pay rent. She shifted her gaze away from mine. Lucas can give me a life you can't. My chest tightened. Lucas Hayes, the guy who treats waiters like they're dirt?
Oh.
That's who you want. She shrugged, almost smiling. He's confident. He knows what he wants. He's exciting. The word slammed into me harder than anything else, and I'm not. She hesitated just long enough for it to hurt. You're just boring, Aaron. I stared at her, hoping she'd take it back. She didn't. Boring? My voice cracked. 5 years together, and that's what I am to you? You don't see it, she said quietly. You're so focused on chasing this dream that you've stopped living. I want more. I deserve more. What you deserve, I said, my voice low, is someone who loves you enough to work for a future. That's what I've been doing. And I'm done waiting, she said, her tone final. Lucas already has everything set up. I'm moving. In with him next week. My stomach turned. So what was I? Practice. A placeholder until someone richer showed up. She winced. Don't make it ugly, Aaron. It already is ugly. I grabbed my jacket from the chair. I hope you enjoy your shiny, exciting life. She didn't follow me as I walked toward the door. You'll thank me one day, she said. I stopped, hand on the doorknob. No, one day you'll regret it. Outside, rain slapped the streets. I didn't have an umbrella, but I didn't care. The cold soaked me instantly, matching the numbness in my chest. I replayed her words boring over and over. It didn't matter that I'd skipped meals to pay for fabric, or that I'd worked weekends just to cover our bills. None of it. Mattered because I wasn't exciting enough. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out, Ryan. Hey? I answered, my voice rough. What happened? You sound like crap. She left. My throat tightened. For Lucas Hayes. Silence, then a sharp breath.
Ow.
The guy with the trust fund and the ego problem? That's the one. I stepped under a streetlight, water dripping from my hair. Apparently I'm boring, Ryan swore under his breath. She actually said that? Word for word? You know, he stopped himself. No, forget it. You're not boring, Aaron. She's just chasing money. Chasing something I couldn't give her, I said. That's the truth. That's not on you. That's on her. Ryan's voice was firm. Don't let this wreck you. I wanted to believe him, but all I felt was hollow. 5 years, Ryan? She walked out like it meant nothing. You're gonna be fine, he said. Better than fine. You'll prove her wrong? I don't care about proving her wrong. Even as I said it, I knew I did. Go home, he said. Sleep. You can't think straight right now. Yeah, I muttered. I'll call you tomorrow. I hung up and shoved my phone back into my pocket. The street was almost empty, just the sound of tires slicing through puddles. My apartment was 10 minutes away, but I didn't rush. Halfway there, I passed a boutique window displaying designer suits. I paused, staring at the clean lines, the craftsmanship. I could make pieces like that better, maybe if I had. The resources? Emma's voice echoed again in my head. Boring. I clenched my jaw. I wasn't boring. I was broke, sure. Exhausted, definitely. But boring. No. She just couldn't see the fire under the ash. When I reached my apartment, I kicked off my soaked shoes and sat on the edge of the bed, water pooling on the floor. I looked at the sketches pinned to the wall, ideas I'd been shaping. For months. Designs that no one but me had believed in. I whispered into the empty room. One day you'll see, Emma. The rain hammered harder against the window. My hands curled into fists. I didn't know how yet, but I'd climb high enough. That she'd have to look up to see me. Not for her, not even for Lucas. For me. Aaron, you look like hell, Ryan said. stepping over piles of fabric on my shop floor. Good to see you too, I muttered, slouched on the counter. The clock on the wall ticked like it was mocking me. You've been in here for 3 days straight? 4, I corrected. Lost track after the landlord stopped by to remind me about rent. Ryan glanced at the empty racks. You sold something? I shook my head, pawned my sewing machine to cover the power bill. He groaned. Man, you can't keep doing this. What am I supposed to do? I asked. Emma's gone. My savings are gone. Clients aren't calling. You think I'm enjoying it? I think you're letting it bury you, he said, leaning on the counter. You've got talent, use it. I laughed without humor. Use it for what? To design clothes no one buys. He straightened. You didn't hear me last time, so I'll say it again. One day, someone's gonna see what you can do, and they'll wish they'd believed in you sooner. Sure, I muttered, scrolling my phone without looking at him. Ryan tilted his head. What are you even looking at? I froze. My feed had just exploded with a photo.emma on Lucas's arm at some massive Hayes Corporation event. Gold chandeliers, champagne flutes, everyone dressed like royalty. She was wearing my dress, the cream satin evening gown I'd made for her. Her birthday 2 years ago, but the caption under the photo made my stomach twist. Gift from Lucas's personal shopper. Ryan leaned in. It's yours, isn't it? Yeah. My voice was flat, but apparently Lucas bought it. That's he cut himself off. Wow, just wow. She erased me. Said my hands curling into fists. Like I was never part of her life. Then make sure she remembers, Ryan said. How? I asked, staring at the glowing screen. I can't even pay rent. Maybe you need someone else in your corner, he said. Someone who still believes in you. The bell over the door jingled, and Maya stepped inside, shaking off the... Rain, hope I'm not interrupting. Maya? I hadn't seen her in months. What are you doing here? She grinned faintly. Heard through the grapevine you've been hiding in your shop like a vampire. Thought I'd check if you were still alive. Barely, I said. Ryan gestured toward her. See? Someone else who still gives a damn? Maya walked over to the counter, looking around at the dusty mannequins.
Ow! You still have the sketches?
I modeled for. Somewhere, I said. Good, she said, leaning on the counter. Because I know about something that might drag you out of this mess. I raised an eyebrow. And what's that? Hayes Corporation is running a competition. For new fashion brands, winner gets funding, a launch event, the whole deal. I scoffed. You mean Lucas's family company? Yeah, she said. I know it's personal, but this could change your life. Ryan smirked. Sounds like the universe handing you a shot. Sounds like walking straight into there. Trap, I said. Maya shook her head. Or it's walking into their spotlight and showing them you're better than all of them. I hesitated. Even if I wanted to, I don't have the resources. You have your talent, she said, and I'll model for free. You just need to stop acting like you're already dead. Her words stung because they were true. Ryan leaned in. Come on, man. Man, you said Emma erased you? This is your chance to rewrite yourself in bold letters she can't ignore. I stared at the photo on my phone one last time, her hand in Lucas's, my dress claimed by him. My pulse picked up. Fine, I said. I'll think about it. Think. Fast, Maya said, heading for the door. Applications close in 2 weeks. When she left, Ryan grinned at me. You're gonna do it. I sighed. I might. You will, he said. Because you're not boring, Aaron. And it's about time the whole damn city found out. So, when exactly were you going to tell me you were serious about this competition? Ryan asked, leaning back in his chair at the diner. I'm not sure I am, I said, stirring my coffee. It's Lucas's family. You really think they'd give me a fair shot? Maya, sitting across from me, shook her head. You're missing the point. It's not about them giving you a shot. It's about you taking one. And if I walk in there and they crush me in the first round? Ryan smirked. Then at least you made them look you in the eye before they did it. That's not exactly reassuring, I muttered. The winner gets funding, eh? Launch event. Distribution in 5 major cities, Maya said. You could skip years of struggling, or waste the last of my dignity in front of Lucas, I said. Ryan leaned forward. The best revenge is standing where they said you'd never be. That's the point. Stared at my coffee. You make it sound easy. It's not, he said. It's war. And you've been in training for years. Maya slid a folded paper toward me. This is the application form. Deadline's in 10 days. Fill it out before you talk yourself. Out of it, I didn't pick it up. You know, Lucas will try to bury me. Maya smiled faintly, then bring a shovel. 3 days later, I was standing in the marble lobby of Hayes Corporation, application in hand. The place smelled like money-polished floors, gold trim. People in tailored suits. A receptionist with perfect posture looked up. Name, Aaron Blake. I'm here for the competition submissions. She tapped on her tablet. You'll need to see Mr. Hayes for an initial meeting. I froze. Mr. Hayes, as in Richard Hayes? Yes, this way. My pulse kicked up as I followed her into a glass-walled conference room. Richard Hayes stood by the window, a tall man with sharp features and eyes that could cut steel. Aaron. Blake, he said, turning toward me. I've heard of you. Not sure if that's good or bad, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. That depends, he replied. You're entering my competition? Why? Because I want the opportunity, I said, and because I can win. His lips twitched, almost a smile. Confidence. I like that. But understand this isn't a charity. If you're here to make a statement against my son, you'll fail. I'm here to make a statement for myself, I said. He studied me for a long moment, then nodded. You're in. But you'll be judged like everyone else. And in this building, that means no mercy. Wouldn't want it any other way. As I turned to leave, the door opened and a young woman stepped in, light brown hair, calm eyes. In a presence that didn't match the coldness of the place, Clara. Meet our latest contestant, Richard said. She gave me a polite nod. Clara Hayes, Lucas's sister.
Ow.
She said, it's different. I like different. Depends on how you take it. Her lips curved slightly, then she stepped aside. Back outside, Ryan called me the second I hit the sidewalk. Well, I'm in, I said. He whistled. Look at you, walking straight into the lion's den. More like getting invited in, I said. Richard Hayes himself signed me up. That's huge, Ryan said, and risky. You ready? For Lucas's games? No, I admitted, but I'm going to play anyway. Maya's voice came through on speaker. Good, because if you win this, your name's going to be everywhere. And if I lose? I asked, then you lose. Fighting, she said. Better than rotting in that shop. That night, I sat at my work table, sketches spread around me. The thought of Lucas's smirk made my hands itch for a pencil. I started drawing, lines turning into shapes, shapes into something sharp. Unapologetic, Ryan texted. Remember, best revenge equals where they said you'd never be. I typed back, guess. I'll see how far I can climb. The rain outside was steady, the kind that made the city feel alive. I glanced at the competition form on my desk. Tomorrow, I'd drop it off, and there'd be no turning back. For the first time in weeks, I felt a spark that wasn't anger or bitterness. It was something better. It was hunger. Contestants, you'll have 4 hours to prepare your first showcase. The coordinator announced, clipboard in hand. I adjusted my workspace, laying out sketches and fabric swatches. The room buzzed with voices and the hum of sewing machines. Then, I heard it, that smug tone I knew too well. Well, if it isn't Aaron Blake, Lucas said from behind me. Didn't think you had the guts to show up here. Didn't turn around. Guess you'll have to get used to disappointment. He stepped beside my table, smiling like we were old friends. You know, some people might see this as bravery. I see it as walking into traffic. Then I hope you're driving the car, I said, cutting fabric. He leaned closer. You won't last the week. Guess we'll see. Before I could refocus, a hot splash hit my sketches. Coffee bled across the pages. Lucas raised his hands. Oops, my bad. Clumsy me. I met his eyes, keeping my voice steady. You really want me to beat you that badly? He grinned. You beat me? That's adorable. I calmly moved the ruined sketches aside and pulled out backups. His smirk faltered for half a second. Across the room, Emma stood by a mannequin, pretending to be busy, but glancing at me. Her hair was perfectly styled, her dress expensive, Lucas's influence written all over her. Lucas followed my gaze. She's glowing, isn't she? A little out of your league now. I didn't bite. Funny. I remember making that dress she's wearing. His jaw tightened. She doesn't talk about you. Good, I said, and turned back to my work. 2 hours in, I was sewing the base of my first piece when a man with perfectly styled hair and an easy smile strolled over. Daniel Price, he said, extending a hand. You must be the guy Lucas hates. I shook it cautiously. Aaron Blake. And that's a weird introduction. He laughed. I like knowing who my competition really is. Word is, you've got talent. Word is also that Lucas would rather eat glass than see you win. Nice to meet you, I guess, I said. Nice to meet you too, he replied, eyes flicking over. My design. Strong lines. Risky color choice. Judges might love it or hate it. Thanks for the unsolicited review, I said dryly. He smirked. Hey, I'm here to win too. But you've got a story. It's dangerous in a room like this. Before I could ask what he meant, Clara Hayes walked past, clipboard in hand. She stopped at my table. Mr. Blake, she said, scanning my layout. I'm impressed you came prepared with backups. I shrugged. Accidents happen. Her eyes flicked briefly toward Lucas. Some more than others. You here to make sure the playing field is fair? I asked. I'm here to make sure the company doesn't look like a circus, she replied. Whether or not the field is fair, that's on you. She moved on, but not before giving me a small, almost imperceptible nod. When the timer hit, the final hour, the room was chaos. Fabric flew, machines whirred, and the tension felt like static in the air. Lucas strutted past my table again. Nice work, he said mockingly, glancing at my half-finished jacket. Looks cheap. I didn't look up. Better cheap than soulless. Emma appeared beside him. Lucas, leave him alone, she said softly. He smirked. Why? He's fun when he's under pressure. She hesitated, then looked at me. You should pace yourself, Aaron. I'm fine, I said, not slowing my stitching. She shifted uncomfortably. It's not worth it. This whole thing, then? Why are you here? I asked without looking up. She didn't answer. Lucas tugged her away. With 15 minutes left, I stepped back from my mannequin. The jacket, deep charcoal with a bold asymmetrical cut, looked exactly how I'd imagined. Strong, defiant. Daniel wandered over again. It's actually good. Shocking, right? Said, don't get cocky, he replied with a grin. First round's just the appetizer. The judges filed in, Richard Hayes among them, face unreadable. Clara stood behind him, arms crossed, and one by one contestants presented. When my turn came, I wheeled my mannequin forward. This piece is called Edge of Gray, I said. It's about contrast, balance between risk and restraint. Richard's gaze swept the jacket. Clean work, confident structure. It's not bad. Lucas coughed loudly. A bit safe, don't you think? Nature didn't look at him. Sometimes safe sells. I caught Clara's faint smile before I stepped back as the session wrapped. Lucas brushed past me, whispering, enjoy your little moment. It won't last. I kept walking. We'll see. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught Emma watching. Again, her expression unreadable. But I didn't give her the satisfaction of stopping. I arrived early, determined to stay ahead. The table was clean, my sketches stacked in order. By the time the bell rang, they were gone. Looking for something? Lucas's voice floated over from 2 tables away. My sketches, I said, scanning the room. He raised an eyebrow. Maybe you misplaced them. They were here. Maybe you should keep better track of your work. I took a step toward him, but Daniel appeared between us. Easy, he said quietly. Not worth it. Depends who you ask, Lucas. Muttered, I ignored him and started redrawing from memory. Every wasted minute burned. An hour later, I reached for the roll of emerald silk I'd chosen. It was gone. I searched my table, the floor, even the supply racks. Lose something again? Lucas called. I didn't answer. Daniel watched me. You really think it's an accident? No, I said flatly. Then you'd better adapt fast or you're done. By lunch, the rumor hit. I heard it in whispers, plagiarized, stole from last year's finalists, too similar to Matteo Rossi's work. At the coffee machine, 2 contestants stopped talking when I approached. Go ahead, I said. Story. One of them shrugged. We just heard you borrowed ideas. I stared him down. You heard wrong? Lucas passed behind me, smirking. Sometimes the truth's just a matter of who says it first. By mine afternoon, my hands were trembling. I wasn't sure if it was anger or exhaustion. I was about to leave when Clara appeared at my side, holding something. You dropped this, she said casually, placing a small bundle on my table. I unfolded it, the emerald silk. I looked at her. Where did you? She cut me off. Not all of us play dirty. Why help me? Her eyes flicked toward Lucas. Because watching someone win by cheating isn't satisfying. I didn't know whether to thank her or question her motives, but before I could speak, she walked away. That night, I sat in the break area, head in my hands. Ryan dropped into the chair opposite me, holding 2 coffees. You look like hell, he said, sliding one over. Thanks. That's exactly what I needed to hear. He leaned forward. You thinking about quitting? I didn't answer. He studied me. Do you remember the night Emma left? I looked up sharply. I bring that up because I remember what. She said she called you boring. Said you'd never push yourself far enough to matter. Yeah, well, maybe she was right. Ryan's voice hardened. Do you want her to be right about you? I stared at the coffee, my reflection in the black surface. No, said finally. Then stop letting Lucas play you like a fiddle. You're letting him write the ending for you. I sat back, the knot in my chest tightening, but in a way that felt different. The next morning, I walked into the workshop with my head high. Lucas smirked at me, expecting a reaction. All I gave him was a smile. Morning, I said. His smirk faltered. What's got you in such a good mood? You'll find out, I said, laying out my work. Clara passed by, meeting my eyes briefly. I gave a small nod. She didn't smile, but there was a flicker of acknowledgement. The sabotage hadn't stopped. But I'd stopped letting it derail me. Every rumor, every missing piece of fabric, every sideways glance, they were fuel now. Lucas wanted to see me break. I wasn't giving him that satisfaction. By mid-morning, people were stopping at my table. Not just the judges, contestants, assistants, even a couple of journalists with cameras. A woman with a press badge leaned in. These patterns are unlike anything we've seen here. I smiled. Faintly. That's the point. She took photos, murmured something about fresh energy, and moved on. From the corner of my eye, I saw Lucas watching at lunch. Ryan slid into the seat across from me. You're trending. I looked up. What? He pushed his phone across the table. My designs filled the screen, reposted, praised, dissected. The hashtags were multiplying. Where did this even come from? I asked. Some blogger with 1 million followers called you the competition's dark horse. I laughed once, short and disbelieving. That'll make Lucas happy. Ryan grinned. It's about time someone made him sweat. By late afternoon, I hit a snag, literally. My main shipment of custom fabric still hadn't arrived. The deadline loomed. My backup options weren't even close to the quality I needed. I was on the phone with the supplier when a soft voice interrupted. "Your delivery's stuck at customs?" Clara asked, standing just inside the doorway. I covered the receiver. "Yeah, it's bad." She glanced around to make sure no one was watching, then stepped closer. "I know someone who can move it." Quietly. "Why?" She didn't flinch. "Because I want you to finish this." "And because Lucas has been unbearable." I hesitated. "What's the catch?" "There isn't one." She pulled a card from her pocket and slid it across the table. "Call him. Use my name." I studied her.
You're playing a dangerous
"Game. I'm used to it." Contact worked fast. By the next morning, my fabric was in the workshop. Clara passed by without stopping, but I caught the faintest ghost of a smile. Ryan whistled low. "Guess your luck turned." "Luck had nothing to do with it," I said. Around midday, voices carried from the far side of the workshop. I looked up to see Lucas and Emma in a heated exchange. "You told me you had it under control." Emma's voice was sharper than I'd. "Ever heard it?" Lucas's jaw was tight. "I did until your little charity project started playing Designer of the Year." "That charity project is beating you in press coverage," she shot back, "because she's getting help. Or maybe she's just better than you think." I froze behind a fabric rack, every word sinking in. Emma's tone wasn't defensive. It was questioning. Lucas lowered his voice, but the edge remained. "Don't start doubting me now." "Then give me a reason not to," she said, and walked away. That night, Ryan found me sketching in the break room. "You heard them, didn't you?" he asked. I didn't look up. "Every word," he grinned. "You realize what this means? That Lucas is rattled? That Emma's starting to see him for what he is?" I kept drawing, the lines flowing sharper, more deliberate. "Good. Let them both watch." The next day, the attention grew. 2 fashion bloggers asked for interviews. A judge lingered at my table, running her fingers over the embroidery. Even Daniel stopped by. "Not bad," he said, his tone grudging but honest. "Careful," I replied. "People might think you're rooting for me." He smirked. "I root for the ones who earn it." Lucas's veneer started to crack. He barked at his assistant over misplaced thread, snapped at a cameraman for blocking his light. When Emma offered a suggestion, he cut her off mid-sentence. I caught Clara watching the scene with open amusement. Ryan leaned close to me. "He's unraveling." "Good," I said quietly. "I want him to feel every stitch coming loose." The end of the week, my table wasn't just a workstation. It was a stage. People came not only to see the designs, but to watch how I worked. I spoke little, letting the fabric and lines speak for me. It wasn't just about winning anymore. It was about making them watch me succeed where they swore I'd fail. And judging by Lucas's face, every time another camera turned my way, the show had only just begun. The air in the hall felt heavier on judging day. Every sound heels on the polished floor, cameras clicking, fabric rustling, hit sharper. My main showcase piece stood on the mannequin, perfect. Untouched, or so I thought. Ryan leaned in. "You check it this morning?" "I checked it last night," I said, adjusting the hem. He scanned the crowd, then maybe check again. Something in his tone made me turn. My heart stopped. A jagged tear ran down the seam, fabric mottled with what looked like coffee stains. I whispered, "He didn't." Ow. Ryan's jaw clenched. "Oh, he did." Lucas strolled by, hands in his pockets, smirking. "Shame about your piece. Guess some things aren't meant to be." Step toward him. "Guess some people can't win without cheating. Call it strategic elimination." I kept my voice low. "Enjoy your strategy while it lasts." Ryan grabbed my arm. "We've got 30 minutes. Do you have anything else?" I took a slow breath. "Yeah, but it's not just another design." 10 frantic minutes later, my backup piece stood where the ruined one had been. It's black silk, jagged silver embroidery, asymmetrical cut, raw, unapologetic. The title card read, "Boring." Ryan frowned. "You're really naming it that?" "Yes. People are going to ask why. Let them." The judges made their rounds, starting with Lucas. I kept my eyes forward, listening. Impressive craftsmanship. One of them said, "Lucas oozed charm. Thank you." I believe elegance is a sudden murmur from the audience cut him off. Cameras swung toward my table. The judges stopped in front of Boring. Richard Hayes himself stepped closer. "Explain the title." I met his gaze. "Someone once told me I was boring. That night they walked away. This piece is what that felt like. Torn edges, unbalanced structure, but still standing." The female judge touched the hem gently. "It's raw. It's real," I said. "Sometimes beauty isn't imperfection. It's in what survives." The room was silent for a moment, then applause started in the back. It rolled forward until half the hall was on its feet. Cameras flashed. My throat tightened. Richard Hayes nodded slowly. "Art with teeth. Well done." I caught Lucas watching. The smile gone, he turned to his assistant, too late. Ryan was already whispering to a cameraman. Seconds later, a replay of backstage footage lit up the giant monitor. Lucas switching the pieces. The crowd gasped. The host's voice cut through the noise. "Mr. Kane, would you like to explain this?" Lucas stammered. That is edited." Richard Hayes raised a hand. "Enough. This competition rewards talent, not sabotage. You've disqualified yourself." The applause that followed wasn't polite. It was sharp, almost vengeful. Emma stood frozen near the edge of the stage. Her face was pale, eyes darting between me and Lucas. When the judges finished their notes, she stepped forward. "We need to talk." I looked at her, really looked, and saw the girl who once told me I was too safe, too plain. The girl who thought leaving would make her shine brighter. I stepped past her without a word. Ryan caught up with me outside. He didn't even let her speak. She was already said enough. He grinned. "So feels good?" "It feels like the start," I said, watching the crowd inside still buzzing. And the best part? They all saw it. That night, my phone blew up. Messages, tags, headlines. Boring was everywhere. And for the first time, I didn't feel like the one chasing. I was the one being watched. The tide had turned for good. The announcement felt like it rang in slow motion. And the winner of the Hayes Design Challenge as the host paused just long enough for the room to hold its breath. Ethan Cole, for Boring. Applause erupted like glass shattering. I stood. Still for a second, letting it crash over me before walking forward. Richard Hayes extended his hand. "Congratulations, Mr. Cole." I shook it firmly. "Thank you for seeing it." He leaned closer. "We don't just see it, we want it. Hayes Corporation would like to offer you a partnership. Directly under me." I glanced sideways. Lucas stood stiff, jaw clenched. "Bypassing the usual chain of command?" I asked. "Completely," Hayes said. "Lucas will no longer be involved with your work." "Then yes," I said. "I accept."
Backstage.
The press swarmed. Cameras flashed in my face. Microphones pushed toward me. "How does it feel to win after the controversy?" one reporter asked. "It feels," I said, "like the truth always shows in the end." Another voice shouted, "What's next for your brand?" "Building something worth remembering." I had just stepped into a quiet corner when Emma appeared, blocking my path. "I always believed in you," she said quickly, almost rehearsed. I gave a short laugh. "No, you believed in whoever looked like they'd win." "That's not fair." "It's exactly fair. The night you walked out, you weren't betting on me. You were betting against me." Her lips parted, but I didn't give her the chance to answer. I walked past her. Lucas was next. He stood near the exit, phone in hand, fake smile plastered on. "Big night for you. Bigger loss for you." His eyes narrowed. "Don't get too comfortable. This industry rewards talent, Lucas. You're out of the fashion division because you thought it rewarded sabotage. You think Hayes will protect you forever. I don't need him to. Protect myself." Now, he tried to hold my gaze, but his dropped first. Clara found me later, away from the crowd. "You pulled it off? You helped me pull it off?" I said. "Without that supplier connection," she shook her head, "you would have found another way. That's what people don't get about you. You don't stop." Her voice was soft, almost proud. "The launch event for my brand happened the next week. Hayes himself introduced me to the press as the future of bold design. The cameras didn't feel like weapons anymore, they felt like spotlights. I could finally stand under without flinching. My designs sold out online in 48 hours. The hashtags trended for days. Articles called me the new disruptor. In high fashion, none of it felt accidental. After the launch, Hayes invited me onto the stage for closing remarks. "Ethan," he said into the mic, "your work reminds us that imperfection can be the most perfect statement of all. The industry needs that." I stepped up, taking in the rows of faces. When I started, someone I trusted told me I was boring, that I'd never make it unless I played safe. This, I gestured to the crowd, the cameras, the lights, is my answer to that. Not just to them, to myself. The applause that followed wasn't just loud, it was warm. Emma tried again. That night, catching me near the exit, "I'm not asking to get back together," she said. I didn't expect you to become this." I looked at her carefully. "It's because you never looked past what I was in that moment. But I did, and that's why I'm here." She tried to smile. "I'm happy for you." "Then, let me walk away with that," I said, and left before the smile faded. The official notice came the next morning. Lucas Kane terminated from his position as head of the fashion division. The statement was professional, but the industry knew the truth. The footage from the competition had already gone viral. Ryan sent me a text. "Yes, boring's the new black," I replied. "Guess so." The boardroom looked different from the stage. Less glamorous, more deliberate. Polished wood table, leather chairs, subtle lighting. It's the kind of place where decisions outlived applause. Richard Hayes sat at the head, nodding as I entered. "Ethan, welcome to your first board meeting." Took the seat to his right. "Feels strange to be here." "Strange?" "In a good way," I said. The rain outside was steady, sliding down the glass in silver streaks. The last time I'd walked through rain like this, I was chasing something. Chasing Emma. Chasing approval. Chasing proof. This time I wasn't chasing. I was walking toward the light, and the door was already open.